right, good morning. I have the pleasure of calling this meeting to order this morning. I'm filling in for our chair, Mike Davis, who is unable to be here. So I am Juliet Tennert. I will again act as chair for this Board of Water Resources briefing meeting and then the actual Board of Water Resources meeting at 10:30. Would like to excuse both our chair, Mike Davis, and our board member, Tim Hawks. And it's been a while since I've done this. So let's see. The briefing meeting has been called to order. We are meeting here at the Department of Natural Resources. And I guess we could go ahead and formally introduce ourselves, the board. So I'm Juliet Tennert, representing Salt Lake and Tooele.
I'm Spencer Jones, representing the Upper Colorado River.
Good morning, I'm William Merkley. I represent the Green River District.
Brian Steed, Great Salt Lake.
All right. We've got a couple of board members online. Dana?
Hi, I'm Dana Van Horn. I represent the Upper Colorado River District.
And I'm Blaine Ibsen. I represent the Severe River District.
All right. It's good to see y'all virtually. We'll turn the time over to our director, Hassan Yeager, to announce the staff that are present.
Great. Good morning. And with us today, we have Joel Williams, Shalane DiBernardi, Marisa Egbert, Tom Cox, Ben Merritt, Ani Baynard, Ethan Stainer, Brad Caldwell, Layla Ahmadi, Kaylee Tanner, Michael Sanchez, Jessica Chen, Shannon Clough taking minutes. Thank you, Shannon. And Sarah Schechter from our AG's office. And behind the curtain, as always, helping this meeting go smoothly and forward is Paul Gedge, part of our AV team.
All right. Excellent. I understand that you have a new employee. Would now be a good time to introduce her?
That would be great. Thank you. Layla and Kaylee, you want to come up? Oh, will you push the button? Thank you.
Good morning. I'm here to introduce Kaylee Tanner here. She joined us in the hydrology and modeling section on September 22nd. Okay. She is an engineer too, and she's going to help us with evapotranspiration modeling, grid ET, open ET, and also will help us in other modeling efforts, and we're very excited to have her. She's going to talk about her professional background and education more for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Layla. Mostly my educational background, because this is my first grown-up job.
Very good.
I did my undergraduate degree in environmental science at Brigham Young University, and then towards the end of that got really interested in hydrologic modeling, and so got lucky enough to get a position with a professor in civil engineering and did a bunch of research and ended up with a PhD dissertation in that while I took all the hydrologic modeling classes. So I defended that last month. I'll graduate in December, and I'm really happy to be here.
That's great. Well, congratulations on finishing up. That's a lot, and we're very, very lucky to have you. Does the board have any questions? All right. Well, welcome. Thank you. Thanks, Layla. Okay, I guess should we jump into the agenda? Does that work for you? Okay, well let's just jump into the agenda. I guess that our meetings just stand between us and a really nice holiday luncheon, so we should keep these meetings moving, y'all. Just saying. Just saying. All right, so it looks like we're going to start with so during our meeting we'll have the approval of minutes. Does anyone have anything that they want to discuss with minutes now? All right. Spencer, are you good to approve the minutes or make the motion when that time comes for minutes?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. And then we'll have our snow report from Jordan Clayton, and then we'll jump into the project. So it looks like we've got some secondary meter reports to take a look at, and Marisa is going to tell us about those now.
So much.
Excellent.
Okay. I handed out a few. Oh, Dana, I was going to send these to you just now, and I didn't. I apologize. I handed out a couple little pages of lots of numbers, and just kind of go back a little bit in time. And Shalane can jump in at any moment when I have forgotten what we have been doing the last few years. So August 2022 was the first board meeting that we had. And that's where you can see this list under first round. It's that whole first page. That's how many projects that very first time on that board meeting that we did. So it was a lot. There were, I've kind of got some comments on there about some of them that have been withdrawn over the time, or there were a couple that were not eligible at the time, and there were a couple that, one right at the board meeting came to the board meeting and said, we don't want the funding after all. So, and another one that had submitted an application but then determined that they wanted to have till 2030 to install meters, because the statute says they have to be, by January 1st, 2030, the meters have to be installed on all pressurized systems for end users. But the ARPA funds, the deadline is December 31st, 2026, when we as a staff have to have all of the funding processed through state finance. So that's that first round. And after that, we're calling them rounds, but Shalane and I looked it over just really quick and said, let's not talk about rounds anymore and what number it is, because it starts to get a little foggy. We had another application period, and we got those, from Springdale down to Sagebrush. We got a few more because we had funds. On that first page, you'll see we did $173 million worth of authorizations. And overall, we had $265 million worth of funding. So we still had some funds we needed to get out. We had another round, and Shalane, is this where we think on the third round it included that return funds also? Okay. So the third round were all of these newer projects that had not received any funding from us yet. And we started to get into a situation, if you go down to the bottom where it says return funds, legislation kept changing and each year. And so more systems that had applied to us for funding were now possibly eligible for exemption and were able to get exempt, and so they didn't need the funding after all. So money started coming back from that. And there was also a real big concern, and I don't know if Brian Steed remembers that day up the legislation. I said, if they keep exempting so many people, we've got about $30 million coming back, and I don't know where it's going to go. And I don't know exactly what then happened, but I said we've got to there was a limit of $5 million for the smaller systems and $10 million overall for the larger systems, and we got that doubled. So as part of that legislation. So that allowed us to be able to do some additional funding for those larger projects like the Lehighs, Weber Basin, Weber Box Elder, South Ogden. We then had another round, and here it says the fourth round, where we had some funding left. We had $41,101,000, and that was money that hadn't been allocated yet, plus money that had been coming back through all of this time. And we got these applications, and as you can see, Lehigh through the Bountiful under that fourth round, all of those had already received funds, including Syracuse. And Syracuse was one where they had gotten capped at the $5 million, but now they could get more funding. So we were able to give them a little more funding there to make them whole. And then then we had to prioritize, and we went through this really fun exercise of prioritizing. So if you'll see the piece of paper that talks about the prioritization, it's in Utah Code 73-10-34.5. Joel, Shalane, and I sat down one day trying to figure out how to turn this prioritization of 60% weight based on estimated water use reduction divided by total state investment, 20% based on applicant facing current or potential water shortages when installation of meters and subsequent water use reductions will result in delaying or eliminating the need for new water development. And the third is 20% weight based on a project's accelerated construction schedule, prompt start, and prompt finish. So we had to turn that somehow into numbers. and determine using, oh, we're going to have a shortage in 2022 versus a shortage in 2024 and figure out how to weight that. And we got our economist involved in that.
I was like, this seems familiar.
With a really gnarly spreadsheet,
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to weight these different things. The first one, the 60%, you know, we knew how much water they were going to save and how much water they were asking for. We could quickly figure out what that weight was. The other two became a little bit more difficult because they weren't actual numbers. So we were able to get that money out, and then since then we've had more money come back, and now that's where we had the water conservation projects, and that's where we got a little more ARPA funding to help with those. Those are the ones that had already been metered prior to May 4th, 2022. And they said, okay, since you already metered and jumped ahead, we'll give you up to $2 million for a water conservation project. And we've had some different things where as long as they're conserving some water, there's been some landscape removal. There have been other pipelines that have been replaced, things that conserve water. And then we are now down to our 5th round. And if you go to the second page of the staples, and I'm not going to go through them all, but just trying to show all the different things. We've either had projects withdrawn through the board, and that is where they said, we don't need the funds after all, or we're exempt now, and we come back to the board. Then we have what's called closed out, and those do not come back to the board. Those are ones that have spent some funds, and then either they've come in under budget, or in some cases, they ended up going exempt afterwards. And so funds came back to us. So these two sides are showing where we got to our $12,293,053.18 that we're going to get out today and get authorized and committed. So that's where we came up with that, and we've had to go through the prioritization process again for the 5th round. And so that's what we've done. There were 5 applications. One we deemed not eligible because they're not a public water supplier, the Weber State University. We talked to them, and we talked with, Shalane went and talked to our attorney because the attorneys, have to poo-poo on things. And so we were not able to fund them. So 2 of them, Morgan City, Marriott Slaterville, have never received funding. So we prioritized them, and they're getting all of the funding they requested. That left Weber Box Elder and South Ogden, and we had to prioritize them based on this weighting system. And I think Weber Box Elder had a 0.455, and South Ogden had a 0.425 or something weighting. So there was more weight towards Weber Box Elder. They got a little more of what they requested. And the funny thing is they're kind of one system in the Pineview water system, but they are separate. So that's where we came up with all of this, and that's where all the funds been. And as you'll see with South Ogden, Weber Box Elder, we've set it up in a way that they're not getting, we don't have enough to give them everything they requested this time, but we're going to set it up in a way where we can, if more, as funds come back, and we know more funds are going to be coming back to us. Projects are coming in under budget. I wish they wouldn't for the first time in my life.
If I could just add, we did, in the prioritization, I wanted to clarify that we followed the direction of the board in prior rounds, where new applicants received the full amount they were eligible for, and then we only applied the prioritization criteria to those who had already received funding. So we had done that in prior rounds at the direction of the board, and so we just applied the same principles here, which is why we're recommending the full amount that Morgan and Marriott Slaterville requested. And the other 2, I apologize right now for whoever agrees to make those motions, since board member Hawks is not here, because you'll see the amounts go to the penny, because we are getting every penny allocated here. We are meeting our task that the governor's office has put before us. So, yeah, I think Maurice has done a great job with these projects. I will clarify that also as these projects are presented, it's up to you whether you want a full presentation. The very first ARPA project is a withdrawal, so that we can make Mount Pleasant's $2,002,000 available to be reallocated. So we're asking you to kind of shuffle things around a little bit first and do a withdrawal first so that we have that $12,293,000 to get back out the door.
Thank you. Any questions on this one? Yeah, go ahead.
If I might make a comment real quick, at the time that the board Water Resources received this money, my friend Brian Steed was the director at DNR, and he may have just, I had been director maybe for 6 or 8 months, and he looked at me after the session when we got this money. He said, "Candace, this whole $250 million needs to be obligated within the first year." He's like, "That's your job. If not, someone will come looking for it." And I just have to give the team at Water Resources the biggest shout out on all of the work that they've gone through over the last 4 years to get this money out the door, and all the iterations of legislation and all the work and all the sometimes pain, I'll say. And then I also got to give a shout out to the amazing secondary systems who are out there putting the meters in the ground and getting it done. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, please.
I'll echo that. Sorry.
It's just incredible. Yeah, it just really is incredible. Well, we'll look forward to the presentations. Board Member Hawks is not here today. Is there someone who would like to take those?
So Blaine will do the first withdrawal.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, Blaine, are you good with the withdrawal on Mount Pleasant?
I think we lost Blaine. I see that.
Yes, I am.
Oh, good. Okay, good. That's okay.
I can do the other ones if somebody wants me to.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Dana.
And we can still have the project managers come up and just quickly.
Yeah, let's
hear
go. I mean, just because we do have the time, let's go through them, but let's go through them quickly.
Yeah.
Just so I know, does anyone feel like they need to hear from the applicants on these? I feel like this is a pretty straightforward thing. So I won't ask the applicants for comment unless you all tell us that they feel like they need to.
Please tell Jeff Humphrey to spend every single dime.
Okay.
And then some.
We'll reiterate.
And if I may, and I just want to add to this, you see our faces, the project managers. Russell, unfortunately, is not here today. He is not feeling well right now. But you see us, and we come up, present. We've got a secondary metering team, and just the amount of work that is going into the legalities of things with the contracts. I mean, all of these had to be under contract. And the work through Jim Egbert's group, and with Mariah doing all the contracts. And then we've got Jack Heinzman doing work for us on mapping, and he made us an app so we can go verify the locations out in the field. And then we've got Heidi King working, because all of these had to have water conservation plans, and all these small systems for the most part didn't, so we had to work with that. And then we had this fun thing called a unique entity identification number, a UEI number. We had no idea what it was when this started. It's a federal number, and the difficulties of trying to deal with getting that implemented for especially the smaller systems, and then maintaining it, because it's a yearly renewal. So there has been a ton of work in the background from people that you don't see, that don't come up and present, that without them this just would have, it was so nice to hand so much of that off to them, and the project managers didn't have to worry about those things, and they could just worry about trying to get this money out the door.
That's great. Thanks for adding that additional insight, and truly thanks to the entire team. See, so we've got a couple of special items then. Is that right? So the next one is this, RE445, is that the next one?
Was there... Ani, were you gonna go over? Did you want?
Oh, I'm
you
so sorry.
Them to present.
Yeah, I'm back and
talk real
forth.
quick?
Yes, we absolutely
Sorry.
do want you to
Thank you.
share, so because that will help us. I'm rusty on this chair thing. That will help. That will definitely help us when we get to the actual meeting. So yes, Ani, please go ahead.
Do you want to hear about the withdrawal also?
Yeah, might as well, if that's okay. Just so we have the chance to
Okay.
ask questions here if we need to.
So Mount Pleasant City is, which is located in San Pete County, is withdrawing their money. In March of 2023, the board committed $2,002,000 in ARPA grant funds and authorized $729,000 as a loan to install 1,400 secondary meters. The applicant has been deemed exempt by the Division of Water Rights and approved to install meters at strategic locations rather than for each end user. The applicant will not be using the funds and is releasing them back to the board. Staff therefore recommends the project be withdrawn from further consideration by the board. So the next project, secondary metering project, is RM 129 Weber Box Elder Conservation District. The proposed project is located in Harrisville, Pleasant View, North Ogden, and Ogden in Weber County. The applicant is requesting funding to purchase and install 7,229 additional secondary meters. The current available funding will not be enough to complete all unmetered connections. The applicant has 23,000 secondary connections, of which 8,762 connections are already metered, and additional meters are being installed with other ARPA funding. The average lot size is 0.3 acres with about 0.29 acres irrigated. The applicant expects to conserve about 2,819 acre feet of water upon completion of the project. So the staff recommends the board authorize and commit 60% of the project cost up to $10 million. This is when it gets a little tricky with the numbers. $10,029,111.11 million as a secondary meter grant with up to an additional $1,449,488.89 million, depending on the availability of additional funds at the time of reimbursement. Staff also recommends the board authorize up to $7,737,000 as a loan, and the bonded indebtedness be returned at 1% interest over 15 years, with annual payments of approximately $600,000, including reserves. So, the next project.
I guess any just opportunity, any questions on that one? All right, very good. Thank you.
Just one.
Yeah, go for it. Yes, yeah, please do.
There's one line, it says the applicant expects to conserve about 2,819 acre feet of water upon completion of the project. Is that over what period of time? Is that
That's annually.
Over the annually?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's a good clarification.
All right.
Thank
I
you.
just wasn't sure if that meant over the life or over the 1 year, so that helps.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other questions on that one? Great. Thank you, Ani.
Okay, so the next project is RM 130 South Ogden Conservation District. And this proposed project is located in Ogden, South Ogden, and Washington Terrace in Weber County. The applicant is requesting funding to purchase and install 1,283 additional secondary meters. The current available funding will not be enough to complete all unmetered connections. The applicant has 10,100 secondary connections, about 6,534 connections are already metered, and additional meters are being installed with other ARPA funding. The average lot size in that area is 0.2 acres with about 0.19 acres irrigated. The applicant expects to conserve about 269 acre feet of water upon completion of the project. And so the staff recommends the board authorize and commit 60% of the project cost up to $1,784,942.07 million as a secondary meter grant with up to an additional $403,857.93 depending on the availability of additional funds at the time of reimbursement. Staff also recommends the board authorize up to $1,584,000 as a loan, and that the bonded indebtedness be returned at 1% interest over 15 years with annual payments of approximately $123,000, including reserves. And that is staff's report.
Thank you. All right, are there any questions on the South Ogden Conservation District application? Okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. And then Brad Caldwell will present the Morgan City application to us. Thank you, Ani.
Madam Chair and the board, good morning.
So Morgan City is located in Morgan County. They are requesting funding to purchase and install exactly 107 secondary meters. The applicant has 150 connections, which 43 of those are already metered. The applicant expects to conserve about 11 acre-feet of water annually. Construction is expected to begin early spring and end in the late spring. And engineer services will be provided by Jones and Associates Consulting Engineers. There is a typo in the first sentence of the cost estimate and sharing. It says 290,000. That should say 288,000. But staff recommends the board authorize and commit 60% of the project cost up to $173,000 as a secondary meter grant.
Oh, I was on the wrong page. Thank you. All right. Any questions on that one for Morgan City? For Brad?
Juliet?
Yes, go
Madam
ahead.
Chair?
Yes, please.
Are those the three that I'm gonna do the motions for?
Yeah.
Tim?
Are you okay doing the motions for all of them, or would you like me or ask other folks to jump in and split those up?
You're the chair, do as you wish.
Okay, I think just to keep things going along, let's have you do all of them if that's okay. And so it would actually be 4. So is that right? Well, yeah, Blaine. So it will be Weber, Box Elder, South Ogden, Morgan, and then we have one more from Marriott, Slaterville City. And Ben will present that one to us. Thanks, Brad. If there's no more questions on. I think we're good. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that Marriott one was
Yeah.
Tim's also. Yeah, I'll be happy to do that.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Ben, anything to share on that last one? Thank you.
Sorry, I wasn't sure which one was next. Yeah, I've got Marriott Slaterville City, another secondary metering project. Marriott Slaterville is sandwiched between Ogden and North Ogden in Weber County. They are looking for funding to purchase and install 178 secondary water meters. They currently have 260 connections. 82 of them are already metered. They expect to conserve about 270 acre-feet of water annually with this project. They're looking to begin construction in March of next year and to be complete by April. Engineering services are being offered by Jones and Associates. The total project cost is going to be about $510,000. 60% of that they're seeking from the ARPA grant, so the Board of Water Resources would provide $306,000. And that's about it. Any
Great.
questions?
Are there any questions for Ben on this particular application? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Can I propose that we handle this one, I think a little bit differently than we normally would handle these in the meeting. So I think we need to take each motion separately because they're such specific amounts, and I appreciate Dana being willing to do each motion. I would propose that we have, the general overview of what we're doing with secondary meters, and then we ask that the staff is available at the table for us to ask additional questions if we need to as we take them one by one. But I would suggest, since we've had these presentations, we have all the information in our packet, we've had the chance to review, we've had the chance to ask questions, that I would just say we're ready to approve or deliberate on this application, ask Dana to make the motion, and just go through with the approving of it rather than taking the time for a full presentation. Does that feel okay to everyone? Okay. So I would ask if you all don't mind, if you could be present at the table as we go through so we can ask questions if they come up. So we should feel free to ask additional questions if we need to, but it would be nice to just move through these. Is that okay, Candace? Do you feel okay with that?
Yeah, I think that's fine. It does look like Jeff Humphrey for Weber, Box Elder, and South Ogden will be in person.
Okay.
But the other ones will be online.
Okay, great. Okay, excellent. And so I'll maybe even mention that we have our team here is available to answer questions, and then we also have the applicants if any arise. But if not, I think we'll just move through. we've been doing these for quite a while, and so it would be nice to just finish up and get this money out the door. Okay. All right, now let's go ahead. I was eager to move on to our special items. So we have a couple of special items. We've got a reauthorization that Tom is going to present to us. So I'll let Tom do that. And Spencer, this is in your area. Is there anything, do you want to set this Bayo Culinary Water Association reauthorization? Anything you want to add?
I just think it's good to replace steel tanks with the concrete.
All right, that's great.
Yeah, Madam Chair, members of the board, in 2021, the Vail Culinary Water Association came before the board for authorization of a project to construct a 500,000 gallon water tank to replace two rusting, leaking steel water tanks that they have in their system. So this is the briefing meeting. I'll just cut to the chase. After it was authorized, they decided to investigate possible other locations for those tanks, and it's taken them a while to figure out what they want to do, and they're ready to go. So since it's been so long, we're bringing the project back for reauthorization. And over 4 years, of course, the price has gone up about $120,000. So they will be here today. Slade Hughes, their manager, should be here in person. So if there's any questions, but it's proposed that the board reauthorize 85% of the project cost up to $1,076,000. That the project be purchased at 1% interest over 30 years with annual payments of approximately $41,700. And those are the same funding terms as before. It's just the amounts have increased.
Great, thank you.
That's the report on that one. If you have any questions, feel free.
Thanks, Tom.
Is that going to be buried, or is it going to be partially exposed, do you know?
I'm not sure. The steel ones are above ground, and they're going to put them in the same location. So elevation-wise, I'm sure that the top of the tanks will probably be the same as the existing ones. So it'll probably be partially, but Slade would probably have the answers to that one. So.
Okay. Great. Other questions or comments?
One other quick question.
Yeah, please.
The delay was 4 years. I mean, is this one going to happen? I guess it's,
I guess we didn't include in the packet pictures of the tanks 4 years ago, but yes, it needs to happen.
Okay. Is it going to happen? I guess the delay was due to...
Well, I think the Division of Drinking Water, they're pushing it this time, so it's got to happen.
Okay.
The delay is a combination of different things. They were looking at alternate tank sites. Their engineer kind of lost contact with him, and he's out of state right now. His son's taking over the design, so it's a combination of a few different things why it was delayed.
Okay, that helps. Thanks. I guess we just need to make sure they understand it needs to roll forward. So.
Yeah. Can you remind us, Tom, and maybe you mentioned this as you were starting, but if not, can you remind us how long does how long, what's the time span where they have to come back to us?
We usually wait a year and a half or so before come back for reauthorization.
Okay.
I think that's in the guidelines somewhere.
It's in the guidelines. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. Go ahead.
And I'm fine to make that motion.
Great, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay.
And
thank
Madam
you.
Chair, if you wouldn't mind if I...
No, you're not allowed.
So I have to blame my mom. Because when I was a little kid, she got emotional over everything. And I made fun of her over that, and I guess this is karma because I inherited the same thing. So just wanted to take the opportunity to thank you guys for this chance of working with the board over 36 years almost. So I wouldn't have stayed here this long if I didn't think that you're doing an important work here. So just thank you.
Yeah. Tom, thank you so much. I think I've got to say, like, I've known this was coming for a little bit, but you just kind of push it out and don't think about it. And now it's here, and I'd say personally, and probably on behalf of the board as well, we're so happy. We're just so happy for you. It's what a wonderful thing to really own your time, but I'm not happy for us though. we're just gonna miss you so much, and just this incredible career and these years of service. I didn't realize it was that many years of service, and the state is so lucky to had you as long as you've been able to give that time, and so I guess it's bittersweet. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I didn't realize it was going to cause an avalanche either. So.
No, but we appreciate. Yeah.
But I gave them plenty of warning.
Tom, please go ahead.
We've talked about this for a while now.
Yeah.
So I just want to make go ahead, Blaine.
This is Blaine. Thank you so much for everything. I'm really going to miss you, Tom. You have been fantastic. Thank you.
Well, give me a couple years, Blaine, and I'll be back down in your territory. So.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Retirement is good, Tom. I can attest to that.
That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to make kind of similar remarks, Tom. Just really appreciate everything you've done. You've done, you've been the project manager on several projects in the Lower Colorado Basin, and I can tell you've had a high level of passion and very thorough, detailed, and I feel like you've really protected the funds of the state through, some really detailed underwriting. So just want to let you know how much I appreciate what you've done, and I'm sure everyone else here in the agency has as well. So thank you.
Thank you. So my last day of work will be the 19th. So and we're required to come into the office, and I think that's so we can pick up our commission check on all the projects we've done. So I won't be greedy, maybe just a 0.5% of all the projects that I've worked on. So
even a 10th, right?
Even a 10th, if I can include the Washington County reuse one.
Hey, Tom, since this isn't the formal board meeting, as you were making those comments, I was looking over at our attorney here, and I didn't see her shaking her head any
All
direction.
Right, there we go. I'll be here Friday morning to pick up the check.
We'll leave that to our director to sort out. Thank you, Tom. Thank you. All right. Well, with that, I guess we can roll over to RE 471, which is Woodland South Hills Irrigation Company. I think that our agenda has this as Washington County, but it's actually Wasatch County. I'll just make that note. Oh, no need for apologies. And it looks like Marisa is covering for Russell.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I got my Kleenex. So, and I should have followed Ani. Ani was back there when Tom stood up and she started to clap. And then, I think our culture is so quiet. So with that, can we please clap?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. Woodland South Hills. Sorry. And then on a really, really, really selfish side, it was like, oh, it's okay, Marisa. I called Tom to find out how to handle something. So he does have a cell phone, and whether he goes on some LDS mission or not, he can answer his phone. So I just want to say, too, it is also Hadley's last meeting. And I got a text from him at 3:30 in the morning that I didn't see till this morning. I saw it this morning, and then I saw the time frame, and I'm like, wow, he's worse than me. I'm not sure what's going on. He is not feeling well, so I'm a little concerned about him right now, but he said he didn't need help. So, but he is not going to be, he said he would not be able to get online, and it sounds like we won't see him today, so we'll just keep in touch with him. Yeah, so that's another difficult one. Russell and I spent 10 years in the same office together, shared an office. got really good at shooting rubber bands over our wall, over our little barricade thing to each other, and anytime someone said something, one of us had a song that we could start singing about it. So there was a lot of jokes, and the guy needs to go on Jeopardy when he retires, and he will win some major money. But I can't say enough about Tom and Russell. Tom just, if we've got a complicated project, we're like, hey, Tom, we know you're leaving, but $195 million, Washington County. And I think Russell holds the record for someone who gets to a board meeting and the people he's working with, the applicants, are bringing him food. So I think he wins on that one. So just two great people. Okay, sorry, Woodland South Hills. And I hope I get this right. So Woodland South Hills, they came to the board back in August of 2023 for a project to construct a new pump house, install pumping equipment, and an integrated SCADA system. Also some regrouting of an existing well and installing about 1,600 feet of pipeline, and they have come in over budget. I did look it up. The last pay request, reimbursement request they had, they should have been reimbursed at 85%. They would have gotten $83,658, and we were only able to reimburse them $41,363. So just that alone, there was about $42,000 that we were not able to reimburse. But they have figured out they've had some real issues with some SCADA system costs, and then apparently a solid rock ledge that they were trying to deal with when they were installing pipelines. So costs went up by about $120,000. And so we're asking the board, originally it was 85% of costs up to $617,000, 0% interest over 30 years, with payments of approximately $20,600. Staff is recommending the board commit an additional $102,000 and amend the purchase agreement to state that the board will provide 85% of the project cost up to $719,000, and that the project will be purchased at 0% interest over 30 years with annual payments of approximately $24,000.
Okay. Any questions on this one? Do you, Spencer?
I'm fine to make that motion.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? So Spencer will make the motion. I appreciate that. Marisa, go back to that reimbursement that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Can you give us a few more details on that?
So, as they send in invoices, we get the invoices, we total them, and say they send in $100,000 worth of invoices. Our cost share is 85%. We'll send them a check for 85% of that. This last the last reimbursement request, we didn't have there were not enough funds left.
Okay, I'm sorry, I see.
They had capped out the $617.
Gotcha. I appreciate that.
So
you were saying that clearly. I just wasn't processing. Thank you.
So when the amendment's done, we'll be able to go back to those particular invoices and make them whole on that.
Okay.
Get the rest of that, and then it sounds like they'll have more invoices coming in.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. And then next we have RM22, which is just a withdrawal, it looks like. Is that right?
Yeah, we withdrew the ARPA funds on this one, and September 2024, but we didn't specify that the loan funding, the board had authorized funding for a loan on this, and the whole project would be withdrawn, but we had specified specifically the ARPA funds back in September 2024, so we're just trying to clean up the books a little bit here.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Any questions on that one? Any more? William, do you mind making the motion for that withdrawal since Tim isn't here?
Certainly, thank you.
Thank you. All right, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Marisa. I'm sorry that Russell isn't here today, but I'm also glad to hear that if he, needs to be taking some time at home, I'm glad he's taking that time at home. And so I'll just say that it's been a real pleasure to work with Russell, and I hope to run into Russell at Trader Joe's or the Avenue Smiths in my pajamas, as I often do. So I won't. Tom, I'm sad because I don't know that we'll run into each other much, and hopefully we'll just have to make some arrangements to run into each other. But I know I'll see Russell. So, but I know there's big changes afoot. So, all right. Let's see. I've got this great agenda here in front of me that I've lost track of. What are we on to next? Do we need to just turn the time over to Candace? Is that?
Yeah, we will have a couple of items for you. A water banking update by Shalane, and then Shelby Erickson. That's a blast from the past. Shelby Cooley, since she was married several years ago, will present on the Great Lake Basin Integrated Plan report. We did a municipal and industrial conservation opportunities report, and so she'll present on that. I will give a director's report, and then we'll have an election of officers. So that may be a point you guys want to discuss before we move on to the other items.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that came up quickly. So I wasn't really prepared to discuss this, but we should talk about the election of the officers. Dana, I hope that we normally just set this up so that the vice chair takes on the chair role, and I know that I would be very supportive of that, assuming that Dana, you're still up for taking that chair role on.
So I think that what was discussed over email was that since it was Mike's first year as being the chair, that he could serve a second year.
Okay. That makes
Isn't that what happened? Isn't that how it works? Okay.
Oh, that's
and he
great.
said that he said he'd be honored to serve another year, and I as well.
Okay. Well, I said, look at that. You made that easy. I apologize that I wasn't up to speed on that, and that sounds good. So does everyone feel good about that? Good. Great. Someone want to make a motion on?
Madam Chair, this is Blaine.
Yes,
I would
please.
be happy to make that motion.
That is great. Blaine, thank you so much.
Just a question, Madam Chair.
Yes,
please.
please.
What is the term that we're allowed to have the chair stay?
That's a good question.
We don't have a specific term. There have been times where it's rolled over after a year. There'll be a chairperson, and then someone else will come in. 2 is probably more typical, or probably the maximum. I don't know we've ever gone up beyond 2. Shalane? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't.
Yeah. I think, but just to clarify, there's not really, and I'm looking at, there's not really any, guidance or statute around this, I don't think, but yeah. 2, for what it's worth, because I know that we were doing 1 for a little bit, and then we made Blaine stay our chair during COVID because there was just so much chaos going on, and just having some, the steady hand of Blaine, we all asked that he serve a couple of terms, and then I had the pleasure of serving 2 years, and I will say that it feels like 2 years is about right, because you kind of get your legs and get familiar with the issues at that level, and then when that first year ends, you're finally feeling good, and then then it changes over. So 2 years does seem about right. Blaine,
Madam Chair,
yes, go ahead.
Blaine, I really think 2 years, having personally experienced it.
Yeah.
Of course, it was COVID during the time I was there,
5
which
years.
was chaotic. Yes, it was. But at the same time, by the time that first year got through, like you mentioned, it was like, aha, I'm finally getting it, kind of, and all that. And I really think the second year is beneficial. After the first year, you're still trying to figure out kind of what's going on. So my personal experience was that 2 years was good.
Great. Thank you.
I agree with that.
Good. All right. Well, I'm glad. It sounds like we're settling into that pattern. Of course, future boards can change how they handle that, but that feels like a good pattern, and we appreciate. I mean, Mike's not here, but it sounds like he agreed to it, so that's good. And Dina, we appreciate you agreeing to that second term as vice chair.
Happy to.
All right. Okay. So do we have anything?
Just a few items for information for the board. we will have Shalane go over status of funds, and while she's coming up, I do want you to know that we were notified just recently that our finance manager, Jim Egbert, who has worked for the division for 15 years, for the state for 21.5. You know he's a finance person when he gets it down to a decimal point for me. And 37 years of professional work. He was before the state. He worked for almost 17 years. So he is retiring at the end of the year, and we are sorely going to miss him and all the work. When we talk about all the money that the board oversees and all the projects that the division does, and I think he made a comment that even though we're one of the smaller divisions within natural resources, we have the biggest budget, and a big shout out to him and his team for even though they're a small and mighty team, they oversee a lot. So we will miss Jim as well.
Thank you, Candace.
Yes, some of us more than others. We'll miss all these people leaving. Yeah. I have to say, as someone who's been here a very long time and seen people come and go, this is kind of a hard meeting for me, to hear these people announcing, saying their goodbyes. Tom, I about wanted to smack with the tears, because I'm one of those too that will tear up anytime somebody else does. But I am so thankful for Tom and Russell. It's so funny, when I started, so for me it's been a little over 33 years ago now, they seemed so experienced and knowledgeable, like the experts, and now that I've been here this long, I realize that was in fact true. Even though they'd only been here a couple years longer than me, they definitely are the experts, and I really appreciate them. Jim's been incredible to work with. I ran into someone else as we were coming in this morning, and he said, "What are we going to do?" And I said, "I don't know." So that was our meteorologist who's done all these cloud seeding contracts. Of course, our cloud seeding budget's gone through the roof. So, and Candace, yeah, I said I'm kind of walking around like this. So, but much of us are in denial at this point in time. We just keep plugging through. So, status of funds.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, but excuses. Thank you. Go ahead, Director. Or actually, oh my gosh, did I just call you Director?
You can call me
Go
whatever.
ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
Maybe at this point it'd be easier for you to prepare a list of who's going to be here.
Right?
Right? That would be, who's staying.
So other than Tom,
we're looking at y'all.
The rest of us back here for now.
Good.
Yeah.
We're happy to see those that are left behind.
Yeah. The Last of Us. Isn't that a movie or TV
Some of us will carry on. So this month's status of funds was interesting. There's not a whole lot happening, except that I had to add back in an ARPA page. So you'll notice the Woodland South Hills is just another $102,000 that we're asking you to commit in the revolving fund. The Conservation and Development Fund, we have the reauthorization of VAO, the 2 loans we're asking you to authorize with the secondary meter projects for Weber, Box Elder, and South Ogden. And then the withdrawals that happen, but you don't really see them on paper because they get removed from the list and the money gets added back into the pot. So I did add back in that ARPA page to show you that $12,293,000 plus that's available today to be doled back out. And so you can see we're doing all that we can to get those back out, and I am happy to answer any questions you might have about any of the funds.
Thank you, Shalane. Any questions on these?
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Please go ahead.
We talked about the dam safety fund at a couple meetings ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the question of whether we were gonna try to receive more money for that fund.
Yes.
Is that something that's in the works or?
Yes, thank you for asking that question, Dana, so much. Because yes, there are a couple things I need to say. First, I have to thank Board Member Steed and the Janet Quinney Lawson Institute, did I get that name right? For putting the high hazard dams as a priority item that needed to be considered for state funding. And our request to the governor's office was included in the governor's budget that he proposed this month, an additional 6.8 million, which is
Very nice.
already 6.2 million. Sorry, to add it to the 3.8 to bring it up to an even 10 million annually being transferred from the C&D fund to dam safety funds. So that's in the governor's budget. We are very hopeful that that will go through the legislature and become reality for us.
So the governor's budget does have that as ongoing?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
It does. It isn't a one-time, it is an ongoing.
Well, reserve comment. Thank you. I'm glad and we really do. I mean, these funds are so critical.
Oh, they
and
are.
Having those funds committed on an ongoing basis is so important. So
yes,
it's
it
great
is.
that questions. Other questions, comments? All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then we'll just have a legal update from Sarah.
Good morning. While I log into my notes here, I did tell Shalane this morning that a colleague of mine over in the Environment Division asked if I wanted to follow Candace over to DEQ and work for the AG's office over there, and Shalane about fainted. So I'm not going to do that to her.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so we've had an exciting event since we last talked. The Water Horse Resources case was issued by the Supreme Court, and I'm happy to say that the state of Utah was victorious in that case. Let me give you a little reminder about what the case is about. Water Horse Resources, I keep saying Water Resources. Water Horse sought to divert 55,000 acre feet from the Green River in Daggett County and pipe it across Wyoming and deliver it for uses along Colorado's Front Range, likely to be stored in a reservoir near Fort Collins. Water Horse filed the application for the water with the state engineer under our appropriation and export statutes. And they also invoked the Upper Colorado River Basin Compact, arguing that because some of the water came from the portion of the compact's allocation, a portion to Colorado, they had an unambiguous right to divert the water for use in Colorado, that the state engineer had no choice but to approve the diversion of the water here in Utah. The Utah state engineer denied the application, concluding that Water Horse had not demonstrated that the exported water could be beneficially used in Colorado, nor that Colorado or the relevant compact administration would account for the water against Colorado's compact allocation. So the court said, the Supreme Court unanimously affirmed the district court's, ultimately the case went to the district court on de novo review. The district court agreed with the state engineer and denied the application. The Supreme Court of Utah unanimously affirmed the denial and held that first of all, the export statute does not conflict with the Upper Basin Compact. So Utah may apply its statutory water export and appropriation laws even where an interstate compact applies. That's super important precedent for the state, and it also is aligned with how we have always seen the compact. The court also ruled that Water Horse failed to meet the required statutory standard under the export statute because it did not show that there was a reason to believe that the water could be transported, measured, delivered, and beneficially used in Colorado. That quote is direct from the export statute. And specifically, Waterhorse had not filed any application or obtained any approval from Colorado's water courts or the Colorado State Engineer, nor had it demonstrated a legally enforceable right to use the water in Colorado, or that the depletion would be properly accounted for under Colorado's compact allocation. And therefore, because the Waterhorse could not satisfy the export statute, the court declined to reach the additional grounds that the district court had invoked. So the decision was made pretty much entirely along the lines of the export statute, but also importantly affirming the interplay between the Upper Basin Compact and Utah's water laws. Importantly, as I said, the court clarified that the Upper Compact's Article 9A does not give an automatic right to a cross-border diversion. Rather, it allows a party to seek a diversion through the normal application for water rights process in a state. Such a diversion remains subject to state-level export statutes. And for out-of-state export proposals like this one, an applicant must show concrete evidence up front that the water can actually be used beneficially in the receiving state. And I think extremely importantly, especially during these times, the decision reinforces the authority of individual states like Utah to retain control over our water resources, preserving state sovereignty over water appropriation and export control. So it's a significant victory for the state engineer and the Division and Board of Water Resources, and congratulations.
Thank you.
The other item that I have to brief you on is the Utah physicians case. As you all remember, we had a significant closed session where we discussed the case last meeting. So far, there haven't been very many updates since that time. Discovery continues. The main update is that the defendants, including the state interveners, have filed a motion for judgment on the pleadings based on a case that came out in July from the Supreme Court called Barani, the Barani decision. And we are awaiting, the court is setting an oral argument for that in the spring. I think when we get closer to that argument, I think that would be a good time for me to brief you more thoroughly on the arguments in that case.
Great. Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions? Okay. All right. Thanks, Sarah, as always, for all the work you do for us on this.
Great. Well, and I think that is what we had for the board. We already discussed the election of officers. And I just want to share with you that I am really grateful for all of you and the work that you do for the state as board members and water resources people and professionals and economists and all the different backgrounds that you bring and the value that you bring to this board. The work you do is really important, and I'll have some additional thoughts at the end of the board meeting, but I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Candace. Any other items that the board would like to bring up? And we'll save some comments for the actual board meeting, but Candace, thank you for all of your leadership and just your guidance and being that steady person through all of this. And you're leaving a big hole, but we are happy for you. So we appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. Well, with that, we'd be just looking for a final motion on this brief to close out this briefing meeting. We'll reconvene at 10:30. Is that right? Okay.
I'll make that motion.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. All right. Meeting is closed out. We'll see everyone at 10:30.